All right, we are live. Thank you for tuning in, doing another little episode of Adventure Talk Live with Nate joining me today. Uh,
Howdy.
it's it's been a while. Oh, sorry, I've got the audio from the live from the actual viewing page like blaring in my ears. Okay, there we go. All righty. Well, it's been a while since we've done this, man.
Yeah, I was actually thinking that this past week when I asked if you wanted to do one, and I think it's been like a few months,
Yeah,
maybe more, maybe like 4 or 5.
I remember it was still deer season, and we were talking deer stuff, early season hunting strategies, all that kind of stuff, and deer season has come and gone, and we both did all right in deer season.
Yeah, definitely did all right. I had some deer sausage tonight for dinner, which was tasty. It's
Nice.
nice to have deer and not deer season. That makes
Yeah.
sense. I guess it's nice to have deer anytime, but it's also nice to like reminisce outside of the season.
Yeah, I definitely eat so much venison now. It's like I probably eat venison usually at least 3 times a week.
Nice. Have you met your goal of everything in your freezer is stuff that you've either caught or harvested?
Not everything. I mean, like it's hard to, find asparagus and stuff like that.
You're out in the field. Yeah, I don't know if I've ever been to an asparagus farm, but I see what you're saying.
Guys, I found mozzarella sticks out here.
Yeah.
No, but in terms of meat, yes.
Okay.
I have not purchased meat in over a year. Well, the one exception is bacon to wrap around things, either
Gotcha.
doves or venison. So I've bought bacon, but I still eat Whataburger and chicken strips and stuff like that when I'm on the road. But in terms of meat out of the freezer, yeah, I don't really buy beef. It was cool
Yeah.
this whole week. I still had one frozen turkey breast
Mm,
from that bird last year, and so I cooked that breast, and so I had turkey sandwiches for lunch all week with that turkey meat from that wild bird.
nice. How did you cook it?
All I did, I let it soak in salt water, just kind of thaw out, and then a little bit more. Obviously, poultry, you don't want to leave it sitting out like you could red meat. So I brined it a little bit, and then put sage, paprika, salt, and black pepper. Just kind of rub it on the outside, and then just throw it on the grill.
Nice. You grilled it. Okay. How did it taste?
It was great. It was great.
Nice.
It was a little drier than like grocery store turkey,
Mm-hmm.
but I mean, not much. It was still good.
Yeah, Lindsay and I, we actually just had some turkey noodle soup the week before.
Uh-huh.
I made like a big batch of it, and then I like froze like a third of it, and we brought that out just because it was a cold day, and it was just nice to be able to have like a home cooked soup like that just by defrosting it.
Dude, that's one of my favorite things with wild turkey. Just boiling the bones or boiling the legs just to make soup. Like it's so good.
I actually just got like a big one of those like restaurant size big like vats, if you are, big like trays that I can kind of put a bunch of legs in like all at the same time because sometimes it's like hard to fit those in pots, and so
Yeah.
I'm
Oh, like a
hoping
big
to do that.
roasting pan?
Exactly, yeah, like a big
Yeah.
like deep like restaurant, no like frills or anything, just like basically a sheet of like steel or whatever, aluminum, whatever it is. And I'm hoping to do that with some like pork butts and whatever. So
Nice.
yeah, but didn't you go hog hunting recently?
Yes. And I posted that video, and it was definitely a fun little hunt, but definitely like a good lessons learned type of
Mhm.
opportunity. So it was about 34 degrees and rainy, which is I would rather it be, 32 degrees or, 28 degrees and just cold but dry. So when
Mhm.
it's just barely above freezing and drizzly is when it just feels nasty because it's muddy and all that.
Recently.
But it's a good time to hunt hogs because the pigs, they're still out and they don't really care if it's rainy. So I went out with my bow. I hit 3 pigs. One I found very easily. One I did not get good penetration on it. It basically I hit it right in the shoulder. They have like a thick like shield, like it's gristle and then the shoulder bone. So I'm not sure if I hit the bone or if I hit the shield, but I saw the arrow only go in a couple inches and then the pig shook it out. So
Oh,
that
dang.
pig was not mortally wounded. And then there was another one that I got a complete pass through on it, and then I just never found the pig. So
Man.
it was just a good reminder of how tough they are. So I did have that little one, and we ate some of that meat, and so that was
Oh, okay. Yeah,
so that was good, but it was, I don't know, it was a challenge, and it actually prompted me to look into my arrow setup. I'm shooting. Well, at the time of that hunt, I was shooting pretty light arrows,
yeah.
which I liked because they, they're fast, so they shoot fairly flat. So my drop from 20 to 30, 30 to 40, all that wasn't that big. So it was, you don't have to, hold over as much. Obviously, I'm using my pins for those distances, but that just means if you're a little bit off on the distance, it's a little bit more forgiving. But
Hmm.
after that, I wanted to switch to heavier arrows. So that way it's got a lot more kind of punch when it hits something.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. I forgot that that's the meat that we had. It was tasty. You did
Yeah.
a good job cooking that hunt.
It was maybe a little bit dry, but the flavor was real good. And that was a little pig. And so those, I like the little ones.
Hmm. For sure. That's awesome. Yeah, that was actually at that. For those who are watching, obviously we were at it, but the fishing trip that we went on, that was a fun fishing trip. It wasn't necessarily a successful like harvesting of fish fishing trip, but I had a good time. It was in the middle of nowhere, Arkansas,
We'll
and
call it just hanging out in a boat.
yeah, and a yurt, and a
Yep.
yurt. That was actually that was probably the coolest part. I think was like camping in the yurt. Was my first time doing that, and it was fun. I don't know. I enjoyed it, even though we didn't really come home with anything.
Yeah. Big canvas wall tent. And I think, what do you think? It was 20 feet across?
At least I would think so. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
for
That
sure.
thing, that was cool. It was a cool way to camp. It was pretty cold that weekend. So my impromptu purchase was one of those buddy heaters. And I'm glad I got that.
Yeah. Something I'm thinking, what I just said was we didn't come home with anything, but we actually caught 3 fish. I just think it's funny that we were like, it's cold as heck. I'm tired. Let me just leave. And we're like halfway to the truck, we're like, oh crap, we didn't take the fish. And we're like, forget about it. We'll get,
Ah,
who cares?
we left those crappie in the live well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I did like that buddy heater. That was clutch for
It
sure.
was one of those things that I was like, I don't know. I was like, yeah, we'll probably be fine if I don't get it, but we'll
Mhm.
be more comfortable if I do. And I just know at some point down the road, I'm going to want something like this again. So,
For
but
sure. And I love the store that we bought it at, like middle of nowhere.
Flowers, flowers.
We at like I can't believe that we were in that Family Dollar and like we're looking for the space heater and I'm like, "How do you sell those here?" And the guy's like, "No, go down to Plowers." And I'm like, I kind of just head nodded and walked out because they didn't have it and it's not like we were gonna get it there anyways. But I just remember getting in the truck and being like, "Did he just say pliers or like?"
Fla- Flowers.
I did not get it, but anyways, we ended up there and got that
I
cool.
just thought like he had like a big wad of dip in his mouth. He's like, go down to Plowers. And I'm just like, what are you saying? No, and then it was what, like John Plyler's country store or something, that little
Yeah,
old hardware store that, store full of solutions to every problem you might have type of deal.
seriously, it's like the country store version of a Walmart.
Yeah.
Um, but besides that piece of gear, I guess you could say, do you have anything else that you got recently in out of
Um,
need or out of want?
well, let me grab those arrows.
Okay. I brought my shotgun down because I wanted to show them this.
All right, I'm back.
I was just saying that I had brought my shotgun down because I wanted to show you what I did here.
Nice.
Well, whenever you're done, though.
So this is what I was shooting. These are the Beeman ICS Hunters. It's an all carbon arrow. And I've killed a bunch of stuff with these. I've killed, well, 2 deer and 2 hogs with these. and I like them. They're pretty accurate. I haven't really had any issues with them, except if I, if I sink them into a tree or something like that, they're carbon, so they're going to break and splinter fairly easily.
Mm-hmm.
And so what I switched to was these Easton FMJs, full metal jacket. So it's carbon on the inside, but then an aluminum sleeve on the outside. So it's, I don't
Wow.
know, there's kind of a debate of aluminum arrow or carbon arrow, and the FMJ is both. And so it's, for the length that I need, it's actually a lot heavier and it's a lot slicker on the outside. So it means both passing through an animal or pulling out of a target, it's a little bit easier. But the biggest thing is weight.
Yeah.
They're going to be a little bit more consistent and a little heavier in weight. And then in the end, instead of a aluminum insert, it's going to be super hard to tell, but that's the field point with an aluminum insert. I've got a brass insert in these that goes down a little bit longer, and the brass insert weighs twice as much. So that basically it moves the center of gravity forward on the arrow.
Okay.
So that means at longer distances, they call it FOC, or forward of center weight. So it helps it basically pull the arrow down, so you're shooting a more consistent arc instead of the arrow just kind of
wobbling.
So
makes sense. So have you shot them yet?
I went out this morning and paper tuned my bow. So I shot an arrow with no feathers on it, just to start getting it tuned up. So basically, if you make all your adjustments to your bow with no feathers, because it's amazing how well these blazer vanes, like how much they actually do.
Okay.
And then you can be shooting field points, and then a lot of people will complain about broadheads not being accurate, but usually it's actually just it's something your bow is doing, and you don't know it till you put broadheads on there. The arrow may not be coming out straight; it may be coming out at a little bit of an angle.
Oh,
so
okay.
If you shoot an arrow with no feathers, and you shoot it through paper, and you're looking at how much it drags through the paper, and ideally you want it to shoot like a perfect bullet hole through the paper.
Okay.
And then you're moving stuff on your bow, moving your rest, stuff like that to get it all lined up. And I got it pretty good. And you're doing this at like 5 yards, because if you're trying to shoot with no feathers, like out at distance, like that's why you have feathers. They're going to go crazy. But up close, if you can make sure the arrow is coming out of the bow straight. So I did that. So I got my bow all tuned up,
cool.
But I haven't actually shot out at distance yet. So one of my goals that I talked about in my goals for my 2018-2019 hunting season is to shoot a turkey with a bow. And so I'm not sure if I'm going to use my new arrows or my old arrows. I probably might as well switch over to the new ones, because, it was the hog hunt that really got me thinking about wanting heavier arrows. And these FMJs are just like, so many elk hunters use these just because they punch through so well.
Yeah.
But if I'm already setting up my bow for these, you don't need a heavy like punch through on a turkey. It's more about accuracy at a goofy bird hitting it in the right spot.
They are pretty goofy. I mean, just got to get through the feathers. But shoot, dude, you got like 3 weeks.
Yeah. And I think it's mostly just getting set up and used to the new arrows. So it's not like I need to learn how to shoot again. Hopefully.
Yeah, sure. and I was in the mode the other night of changing stuff around, just because in previous turkey seasons I felt like I'm like too much of I'm a fairly broad guy, but like even in the woods, if I'm wearing camo, my guns, it's just like too big basically. And so I'm trying to like slim it down, and I've thought about a couple different things. I made a couple of different adjustments. That's what I brought down. Excuse me. I know, right? I had like a bigger optic, bigger red dot on there, and so I got this smaller one, a little bit slimmer and trimmer, and I got this headbanger. I think True Glow makes it, and haven't shot it yet. I'm gonna have to go out and do that. And I took off the fore end that had like the attachments and had like the pistol grip on it.
Yeah.
Like Rambo looking thing. The pistol grip actually broke, which I was unhappy about, but I'm glad it broke at home versus like trying to rack something in the field, like when I'm about to shoot something.
Yep.
And so,
I'm just thinking about like that, if you take a shot and miss and you actually need to rack it back, like that would be the worst time to discover.
Exactly. What the? Yeah, seriously. Have that to throw at the animal. That's about it.
Yeah.
But yeah, so pretty good. I'm excited
Nice.
about it. Haven't shot it yet.
By the way, we got a couple guys on. We got Argonza and my name is Best FF. Both say, God bless and hello, what's up? So, hey guys.
Oh, cool. Yeah. What's up, guys?
Dude, that turkey choke though, that's what I had on my gun last year when I shot that 58-yard bird. And there's some people who are, I don't know, more classical about their turkey hunting, and it's the art of calling them in close. And I think that's ideal, right? But now it was just like, there he is, shoot.
That's my attitude now, especially since we freaking got busted by a coyote when the bird was at like 50.
Yeah. Know? And for anybody who's watching who doesn't know that story, it was about a year ago. I didn't post the video, I think, till like midsummer or something, but there's a video on the channel. We were out turkey hunting. We called in a gobbler. He hung up, and then a hen came right up to us, like 5 yards. So we thought it was going to be like the perfect decoy. Then the gobbler hung up, and then a coyote ran in, scared them both off. The gobbler was up in a tree, gobbling at the coyote. We should have shot the coyote, but we didn't.
Seriously, looking back, should have just taken him out.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I'm excited about it. I'm excited about turkey hunting coming up. Got that set up. Going to shoot it here probably this week or next week. I got a few extra things. Not extra. I got a few other things. Just the other day, I went to the Columbia outlet, which is awesome. I got 3 dry bags for $10.
Nice.
It was like a pack of like a really big one, a fairly big one, not a huge one, a medium size and a small one.
And those are like the lightweight ones, not the one that are like made rubber, of like Goodyear tires. Yeah.
Yeah, seriously. So I got those for $10, which I was excited about because when we travel, we always don't have like sometimes like you have more dirty clothes than clean clothes. And sometimes you have like, where do I put wet shoes or whatever? Like it could be anything. And so it's nice just to have like a nice lightweight, like you were saying, dry bag option.
And just label it Sacco drawers.
Yeah, exactly. And the other thing, which I think is like really underrated when it comes to like planning and of like being a part of the Boy Scouts, I felt like be prepared was like an excuse to be overpacked.
Yeah.
But it's nice to be prepared, but then not overpacked. And so my thought went into Lindsay and I, we're going to be traveling overseas here some point this year. And I got a duffel bag, a packable. I got a packable duffel bag. I actually need to cut that off anyways. So like
you can kind of expand as you go.
Exactly. So if we have souvenirs or whatever, like I can throw all my clothes in that, maybe in a dry bag, and then like throw that on as like a checked bag, and I don't have to worry about it. Like I can pack and like neatly, secure all like really good or whatever souvenirs. So it's nice to be expandable without adding much weight or size.
Yeah. Argonza asks, what state do you guys hunt? For me, I've hunted a little bit in several different states, but for turkey this year, I think I'm going to be hunting Texas, Basically every week of season. So
yeah,
I've got 4 Texas tags. And so one of them, hopefully I can get one with a bow. That's my goal this year. And then after that, let's see if we can fill up those tags.
Yeah, I'll be coming back to Texas with hunting with you, which I'm so excited to get out and do some Texas hunting, and then Tennessee. And I have the offer to go to Indiana, but I don't think I'm going to be able to take them up on it this year.
I bet there's a ton of turkeys up there.
There are. I think they only have their season's super short though, so it makes me think that like they don't have a lot. I don't know. They're huge. I know that. I saw 3 mounted ones at my cousin's house the other Thanksgiving, and they're huge. They're massive birds. Now, granted, you aren't going to like mount like a little itty bitty one, but still.
Midwestern corn gobblers.
Seriously, that's what I feel about the dang deer that I have in the freezer. Came from my cousin. Most of it came from my cousin, and gosh, that sucker was like as big as me, like freaking corn fed for years.
Man, and it's funny, like that little buck from Michigan, like the rack on it was like smaller than this one. Like it's still sitting on my patio. It's like I haven't even done anything with it. Like, but the body size of those deer, it was just like, so that was like probably a 3.5-year-old dink, but it weighed every bit as much as I do. So I think that was 175.
Jeez.
Versus like I think like the deer I shot opening day archery in Texas, it's just this like, North Texas deer that just only eats acorns, 80-pound doe. Nah, it's probably bigger than that. It was probably 90-pound doe, which is actually like that's not bad for around here. Like down in South Texas, there's deer everywhere, but there are people who kill does that are 60 pounds, like a full grown, 3.5-year-old adult doe that you're just like, got it.
Throw it over the shoulder. Yeah. That's what I felt like with my doe here in Tennessee, because in Western Tennessee, we have a tag limit of 3 does a day.
Which is, crazy.
It's just ridiculous. So they're so tiny because there's so many of them.
Yeah.
Thankfully, we don't have CWD over here because, due to like the size of the population. But the one that I got was like, we just bring that one to the car. Like that's like harvesting like a jackrabbit, like a big jackrabbit, which I've had a huge jackrabbit. So like I really actually can make that comparison. Like no kidding.
Dude,
jackrabbit weighed like 30 pounds, 40
I remember
pounds.
when you cooked up that jackrabbit, and I'm just like, dude, this thing's going to taste like freaking boot leather. Like this is going to be awful. And I think probably just because you had done a really good job cooking it.
Well, I appreciate it.
And I was pleasantly surprised. It was much better than I thought.
I think the back straps, the back straps out of the rabbit were like definitely the size of like some tenderloins that I've seen come out of a deer. So I mean, I don't know if you could picture that, like it was a huge jackrabbit, but like still, it's a good hunk of meat. If you cook it right, it could be good.
Yeah. Man, right now though, I'm just excited about turkey. I mean, I want to get some more fishing now that it's nice and pleasant outside. Unfortunately, the lake closest to me where it's, I don't know, I know I can go down there and catch fish, but the water's kind of nasty, so I'm not going to eat anything out there. And I actually kind of have a weird thing with catch and release fishing. Like it's, I don't know, it's weird to me. But that's
like tell me more.
Like I would never book a trip like purely for catch and release fishing. Like there are a lot of people who go sport fishing where it's like the whole, like you never intend on keeping a fish. Like that's super weird to me. And to me, the whole reason you're doing it is just like, you've got this primal instinct of like, aha, I got it. I have food. I proved that I can get food. And that, releases endorphins that makes me happy because I got food.
Yeah.
Okay. Now go away. I'm just proving that I can do it.
Yeah.
No, I'm not saying I'm against releasing fish, but for me, it's usually because it's like, that's a little one, or like, but it's, I don't like, I would never, at this point, I don't know, everything is always subject to change, but I would never book a fishing trip for like, I really want to catch that fish, but not eat it. Like that's kind of weird to me.
No, I completely agree. I do like the feeling of catching fish. And so I'll definitely be the guy that like throws a jig, like, and just doesn't really care what they catch as long as it's like getting the fun of it. Yeah. But I've also been the guy to, keep 30 bluegill because like I'm willing to put in the effort to like fillet it because I like cooking fish and eating fish. So yeah.
I remember when we caught 54 bluegill and we spent all afternoon like we were just so tired of trying to fillet those little bitty things. But they're so good.
They are. I wish you would have caught more crappie because I feel like crappie are really good and they're like really, really good eating and they don't take as much time to fillet as bluegill.
Yeah. Crappie is my favorite eating fish. But man, bluegill. So the next time, you know what? I might go bluegill fishing tomorrow. Like that just sounds like fun. Because the next time I want to cook them whole because I've done that before. And,
Mhm.
you just got to like peel the meat off the bones, but it tastes super good.
And I wonder if you could just pull the bones out at some point. Like I know you can do that with like pull the flesh off a trout or something, but I wonder if
Yeah,
like
same deal.
you can just pull like the hunk of bone out. But that'd be cool. Yeah, let me know how it goes. Record a video. Let's see it.
Yeah, I should do that. Somebody else just commented in says taxation is for sodomites. Well, taxation is theft. That's definitely my opinion. And he says my favorite fish is chicken. Disagree. Disagree.
Interesting. Is he
I
still
mean,
watching?
what's that?
Is he still watching? Or is that kind of
Uh,
like a pop in comment and
well,
leave?
I can see who comments on here, but I can't tell if they're still watching or not. Probably,
Oh,
but
okay.
um, I like chicken, but chicken's chicken, right? I mean, everybody likes chicken. Oh, he says I am.
Oh, cool. Okay. Yeah. I don't know. I think that fish, there's a lot of good health benefits for it, but then like, I don't know. I've killed chicken and fish. Fish are a whole lot more fun to catch.
Well, and it's funny too because there's so many like you can have really bad fish. like
Fair enough.
I've actually like I don't buy frozen fish anymore. Just because it's like
Okay.
I don't like it. Like
What about
it's
salmon?
I mean I'll buy yeah, it's borderline. Like if I can
Sure.
buy it fresh, like it's always worth paying the extra $2 to get the fresh versus the frozen, in my
Yeah.
opinion.
Yeah. I can completely agree. I don't like salmon, so I only cook it for Lindsay. So, but we'll get sometimes like the vacuum sealed ones that like you can
Yeah.
just kind of throw in the toaster oven. She seems to like it, but yeah, I'm all for it. I mean, fresh fish is great. The last time we were out when we were deer hunting, yeah,
Yes.
no, dove hunting, and deer
Yeah.
hunting.
Yeah.
When we went fishing, it was nice to like catch a fish and like an hour later turn it into fish tacos. Like it may have been like a dirty bass, but like it still tasted better than like a frozen tilapia any day.
The pond bass that we cooked in bacon grease and chili cheese Fritos. Hell yeah.
Bacon probably made it taste a whole lot better, but that was awesome because all of those like that pond was like, which we know there's bass in that pond. We caught them for years now, but it was dried up, so it was nice that like all of like the bass were like
Concentrated. Yeah.
yeah, that was pretty cool. But yeah,
Well, I'm mostly excited about turkey hunting. I mean, maybe I'll go on another hog hunt this spring. I'm not sure. I think hog's like always one of those things that is like if you shoot it, it's kind of like a coyote. Like no matter what you're hunting, if you see a hog, it's a hog hunt because it's just like every property they're like kill them. Don't let them
yeah,
live, tear stuff up, kill them. So
especially in Texas.
yeah,
I mean, up here in Tennessee, I don't have a hog problem on the property that I hunt up here. Thankfully, I guess you could say. I'm not sad about it. I've never caught them on game cameras. I mean, it's not necessarily the biggest property where I have cameras everywhere, but yeah, I haven't seen them. But so when we've hunted, like I feel like the hunting season goes dove season, have fun, drink some beers, enjoy that couple weekends. You may go dove season. Then maybe if we can do some quail on some years we've done that. But then it goes basically dove to deer to turkey, and you've started to splice in coyotes. But like we have that big break in between like May and August. Do you have anything planned for that like this year?
man, that's tough. Mostly down here, that's air conditioning season.
Yeah,
Because it's just
fair enough.
so freaking hot, like July in Texas.
Yeah.
Last year, that's when I did my axis hunt because that's kind of when so axis like their antlers, they kind of have their hardhorn kind of whenever, but their primary rutting season is kind of like late June, early July.
I didn't know that. That's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think it varies by area a little bit, but in Texas, that's when it's most common. Um,
Really?
so that's a good time for hunting that kind of stuff. But I don't know if I'm gonna get to do that again this year, but it's a good thing to do in that off season. And obviously fishing.
Yeah. Have they ever studied why they rut in June when every other I'm guessing animal from that family ruts in fall?
I think it's probably. I'm sure somebody studied it. I don't know. My guess is because they're originally from India, right? So
I didn't know
they're
that.
from a
Okay.
different climate, and so put here. I don't know. They're not going to necessarily behave like the deer species here. They are a deer
Gotcha.
species, but they're not
Yeah.
necessarily going to behave the exact same as local ones.
That is interesting. I think I kind of assumed that they were from maybe a different hemisphere or they were from like whatever. So that makes sense that they would maybe act like they're where they're originally from, or the weather pattern from where they're originally from. But I don't know, something interesting to look into because that is odd. I feel like to rut in June.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, interesting because it's not like I mean, that makes sense, and I know that you've like I've had the axis that you've shot and it was good, but it's not like I'm going hog hunting in the summer, especially in Texas, because those
No,
things are
because they're
nasty in the
covered
winter.
in ticks and
Yeah.
yeah, and it's hot and you gotta. That's the only time I've ever shot one and let it lay because usually I feel pretty guilty about that, but
Hmm.
it took me a while. It had run into a thick briar patch and it took me a long time to find it. And it was about an hour between when I shot it and when I found it. And
Hmm.
I'm like, well, it's going to be another 45 minutes before I can get it on ice because I got to cut it up, then run into town and get more ice. And that
Yeah.
was like, it's 90 something degrees out here. Like the meat's borderline sitting out for almost 2 hours at 90 degrees, like with pork. Like,
I don't know.
probably shouldn't do it. But with hogs, I don't know. Like I said, I try to keep the meat when I can, but that's kind of hogs and predators are kind of the one animal that a lot of people are just like, just kill them, just kill them.
Yeah, especially coyotes. Good
Yeah,
gravy.
yeah.
Yeah. Have you met your coyote goal this year?
No. Well, my goal was to kill as many coyotes as I killed deer. So technically, I need to kill one more.
Okay.
And one. It seems kind of like prime coyote season is gone. So it'll get down to if we happen to stumble across one on turkey season, turkey hunting, because or I don't know if I get an opportunity to like hunt them at night somewhere. But you
Yeah.
can't do that on public land. Um,
Oh, really?
yeah, and you can't even use a rifle on public land. So
Got to pull them in
yep.
close. Crazy.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, I need to get practicing on my turkey calling though. I feel like this time of year is about when I normally just have my turkey call sitting in my truck, and just when I'm driving around, just like sitting at a stop sign, I'm just like practicing on it.
You're not talking about your slate call, right?
No.
Maybe dangerous driving doing that, but actually, speaking of like the mouth call though, like we were on our way. I was on my way to hunting with you, and I had that in my truck because I had been truck. I wish I had a truck. I had that in my car because I had been practicing that week going to and from work, and I knew there was a guy like 2 cars in front of me up to the right that had his windows down. I knew he was going turkey hunting, so I like put it in. I just started cranking it out, and he started going,
What the
"What
heck?
the hell?" Yeah, he was like, "I don't even have to go 3 hours to go kill a turkey." Like he was all like, "Who the heck is that?" And so he never. I wish I would have like had time to like creep up and like and to tell talk to him or whatever. But yeah, I got him looking around a little bit.
Did he ever spot you?
No, that's what I was saying. Yeah, I never had time to pull up, and he never spotted me because I was like, you could say, I guess, in his blind spot, if you will.
That's funny.
Like 1.5, 2 cars back.
That's funny.
So,
I could see like
yeah.
doing that, like if somebody's got like a dog in a convertible or something, like just messing with it.
That is funny. Wow. Well, cool, man. Um,
I'm trying to think of other like news and exciting update. Oh, I realized. So actually, after that pistol that I sold you
yeah.
quite a while back, I did not have a full size handgun. I had
Oh,
some carry guns and kind of that FNS9 that's kind of a large compact, but still a compact. And so
yeah.
I got bit by the bug and I picked up the Walther,
Nice. That
the
looks nice.
PPQ long slide, the 5-inch version.
Cool.
So basically, I found a deal on it where I got the 5-inch target model for the same price as the regular one, and it's got cutouts on here. So weight wise, it's actually only a hair more than the other one, but you get a longer sight radius. And so, and a longer barrel. So theoretically you get more accuracy out of this. So this is probably more just like go to the range and really like work on fundamentals and learn how to shoot. But, and then of
That's
course,
cool.
I got TFX on there.
Yes, those actually look really good in the camera too. Do you? When did you pick that up?
10 days ago.
Cool. That's good. Did you get it at like a big brand store or just like a place you found online?
CDNN. They're out of Abilene, Texas, and they're a big. They're not a wholesaler, like they're direct to consumer. But they tend to. I think like a lot of times there's either somebody's overstocked on something, they tend to like buy out a whole bunch of that stuff, and so they'll have like a huge sale on Walthers or a huge sale on like, it was when Zenith was getting out of a lot of their 1911 models. They had just like all these crazy deals on those. So you can sign up for their email blasts, and they send them like every couple days. And so I don't know. I just kind of keep an eye on that. And so I'll just be looking. I'm like, they got pistol mags. They got Ruger 1022s, like standard stuff. But then just keep an eye on it. And then when I saw this guy pop up, because I had shot the PPQ before, and I've kind of converted to like my everyday carry now is that PPS, the old version, not the new version, which the new version actually has a recall on it, but the old one doesn't. Just interesting side tidbit. So after I shot the PPQ, I was like, ooh, I like this gun. And what I really like about it is look at the slide lock. It's got that huge slide lock on both sides.
That's cool.
Which that's being a lefty, like that's really hard to find. And then the mag release, you have to move it. It's not on both sides. That was the FN. I really like how they did that one. But I love this gun, and it's got a good trigger. The magazines are only 15 though, instead of 17. I feel like 17 is kind of standard for 9mm. 15 is kind of standard for 40. Yeah. But so it came with that one, and then I bought an extended one that's 17.
Gotcha. You were saying something about your carry gun. I felt that gun, but you were telling me it's like a con from that. What were you telling me about it being rusty or something? Were you saying like when I was there? Did you say that your Walter gets rusty? Maybe.
Well, they brag a lot about their finish, their Tenifer finish.
Yeah.
And so I thought because they bragged so much about how good that finish is, I kind of neglected to clean it and stuff. And so it's actually for the amount of like where it just got wet and I didn't clean it and stuff like that, it actually held up pretty well. But what you always need to look for is, so even if they've got that finish on the slide may look good, but if it, you wore it, you were carrying it and you got rained on, there's gonna be some moisture in the barrel. The barrel is not, the inside of the barrel is not gonna have the same coating as the slide.
Gotcha.
Or up under your sights. Like there are some moisture traps in there, but in general, it's pretty good. I just realized because they bragged about that premium coating, I tend to probably just out of laziness. I don't like cleaning guns. I used to, I don't know. It was kind of a ritual thing that was like, oh yeah, that marks the end of the hunt, cleaning the gun and taking care of it. And now I'm just like, yeah, I try to buy guns that I don't have to clean.
I don't blame you. No, I felt like that was like something a part of the story there, but I wanted to know too, is that relationship to that gun, like, does that have the same coating, or like, do you have to take care of that gun as much as you would, like, I don't know, any other gun or less?
Yeah, it's got the same coatings on it. It's their, they call it their Tenifer finish, but that's a plus for the MMPs and FNs and a few other guns. Even though they've got like a nitride coating on the outside, they're actually stainless.
That's cool.
So, whereas this is not. This is just steel, or like regular Glocks are just steel. So this is essentially very similar to a Glock. The coating may be a little bit better than a Glock, but yeah. That's I don't know. When you're asking kind of what to do in those off months when it's not peak hunting season, I need to just kind of get back into working on marksmanship and both rifle, pistol, kind of anything. And my goal, I hunt with a bow. I've occasionally done muzzleloader season. For me, handguns was mostly like a self-defense thing. And honestly, it was a gun rights thing. when I got my carry license. Then I started learning more about, open carry and that legislation and all that. I saw a very valid need for a handgun, and that got me into handguns.
Fair enough.
But I think in this off season, I want to just spend more time. I've done some gun reviews. I probably need to do some more of that, but spend some more time just getting out and just kind of enjoying the skills and methods of shooting in various disciplines.
Yeah. I think it'd be cool to do a gun review the next time we're out hunting. Sometimes we have like an array of people hunting with different guns. Sometimes we have like the same amount of people hunting all with like Beretta A5s. Not Beretta, Browning A5s.
Brownings,
and so, I think it'd be kind of cool to do gun reviews, stuff like that. I do like, we'll see how mine ends up this turkey season. I'll have four Tom tags as well. So
nice.
Hopefully I get to tag out.
I realize
I just get one.
Yeah, no talking about limits. That's not allowed.
That's not allowed. Right. We don't do that anymore.
And I realized I mentioned handguns just a second ago. So some gun news stuff for this week. I saw that Oklahoma and Kentucky both recently got, so that's like neighboring states for both of us, both are now constitutional carry states. So you don't have to have a license to carry in Oklahoma or Kentucky.
Open carry. Is it one of those weird states where you have to have a license to conceal carry?
No. So Tennessee is that way. You can open carry with no license, but you have to have a permit to conceal carry. And I think there's a lot of states like that. But Oklahoma and Kentucky now, you can carry open or concealed with no license.
That's cool.
So gradually more and more states are going that way, which is good. Texas is still, everybody thinks Texas is so pro gun, but nah, we're one of 13 that doesn't have anything like that.
That's crazy. One of 13, but so there's only 13 left that don't have like some sort of like, or I guess there's only 13 that have like really strict gun laws.
Well, and I may be getting stuff mixed up. I remember at the time in 2016 when Texas got open carry.
Okay.
At that time, there were only 5 states that did not allow open carry in some form, and Texas was number 5. So it was like, California, New York, Illinois, the typical ones you expect, and then Texas was on that list. Texas was one of the very last ones.
Dang.
And then they basically changed it, so they took the Texas handgun license permit, and then it was called the concealed handgun license, and they just basically marked off the word concealed everywhere. But it's still really expensive. Like Texas, I think so. It's $140 plus the class that you're required to take, which I actually really don't like that you're required to take the class, because a lot of people think, oh, here's a class that's going to teach me how to defend myself and how to use a handgun. But it's very we're going to spend most of the time just talking about the laws, and then can you hit that piece of paper way over there? And so a lot of people think that it's like a training class to get you in. And so I think having a training class requirement is actually bad, because there's a lot of people who don't prepare and don't train and don't learn because they think they're going to through that class.
And at least through your experience that they don't train you in those classes.
No, I mean, and they're not required to. I mean, most of those guys that, there's a few things that they're required to teach for the licensed class, and most of it's just law. If it's a bar that serves like 51% or more of their revenues from alcohol sales, they have this sign, and that means you can't carry there. And so, but there's a lot of people who think that they're going to these classes to learn how to shoot, learn how to defend themselves, and to learn basic handgun safety, when really the class is mostly just law.
I got what you're saying. I can see that happening, because a lot of places will just do the bare minimum to get money. But there's a place here that I am going to go to do the class and everything, so I can carry, have my license and whatnot. And right. I was there when they had one going on in like half the range, and they actually were going through some training. And I
Cool.
think it was super encouraging because there was this lady who was like, who had some terrible experience and like was doing the whole class getting a gun because of that, so she could be prepared, but she was nervous. And it was cool that they were walking her through that.
Yeah.
Partly, I felt like while some people, and it sounds like from what you think, that like a lot of places will do the bare minimum just to like get their fee, move on, cycle people through. It's nice that this place was like, one, investing in that person, because it creates a relationship where she probably will come back and train there. So it creates more of like a cash flow. But then like, not only do they get money, then they have like another safe person on their range. Cause that's like the thing that I hate going to ranges the most, is like the other people. Like when I look up at the ceiling and I see holes, I'm like, yeah, I want my own property. Like, I'm like, I don't want to be here with other people. Like, yes, like they may have the rules posted, but like, hell no. Like if I'm next to somebody who like does that, like I'm getting the heck out for sure.
A downside of that, though, that I've seen, well, I guess it's a downside. It makes sense, like strategically, but I've seen so many of those instructors, especially in Texas, where the course is required. They're like, okay, here's the course that will get you, your license.
Mm-hmm.
And then the last 30 minutes are spent that guy pimping all his other courses, being like, yeah, but if you really want to learn how to shoot, come pay $300 to come to my super tactical brochacho class. And there's a lot of that.
Yeah. And I mean, that gets back to what the person commented. I don't know who it was, but just taxation. I mean, it is theft. Like I have the choice through my own free will to go buy a gun and do what I want to with it.
Yeah.
And it's been taken away for it to be sold back to me. It's kind of like,
yeah, that's exactly
what? And so same thing with, I'm doing my freaking taxes today. And it's just like, wow, yeah, definitely worked really hard for this money. And I don't really like what's going on in the government right now, but I'm forced to give you money. I'm pretty sure that's robbery.
Yep.
on every level.
Yeah, definitionally. Absolutely.
So, I mean, granted, I don't think I'm never going to be completely happy with what goes on in the government. And that's understandable because it's good to have different perspectives. But I don't know. It'd be cool if you had the choice to be like, all right, donate money to whatever you want to be done. Done.
That's called capitalism.
Right? Exactly.
Well, we'll do it if you're willing to pay us for it, then we'll do it.
Exactly. Right.
Basically.
I don't know. Any other comments?
I'm trying to think. I mean, I was kind of getting worked up and excited about gun stuff, and especially handgun. And what was really interesting, and I'm just thinking back to I mentioned when Texas was doing all the open carry, when we were really fighting to try to get that legalized in Texas, and it ended up going into effect. Most of that, battle was in 2015, but it went into effect start of 2016. It was really interesting. One group that very actively fought against us was the NRA and the Texas State Rifle Association, because the original bill, and I don't remember the bill numbers and all that stuff, but open carry Texas was kind of on the forefront of that stuff. But the original bill was unlicensed carry. So basically, if you could legally own a gun, you could legally carry a gun, just like we're now seeing in Kentucky and in Oklahoma. And the NRA fought heavily against that because in Texas, they have a huge, huge network of NRA certified instructors. And so that means if you're taking this class, here's an NRA certified instructor who's going to teach you that class and make money off that class. And so when we were fighting to have something where, if you can legally own a gun, you can legally carry a gun, and you don't have to pay for that privilege when it's already a right you have. The NRA fought against that because it would hurt their network of profitable dealers. Exactly.
That's messed up because every Bubba Gump out there, and I come from the land of Bubba Gump, so I'm allowed to say that. But they all, my dad gave me an NRA hat when I first got back into hunting because he's like, you'll need this, son. And I'm just like, everybody has such a high like they hold NRA to such a high like level,
Yeah.
almost like celebrity status, and like they can't do anything wrong.
And
Man.
I feel like now there's a lot of people who are starting to realize that, and it's almost becoming this like popular trend to kind of like shit on the NRA. But
Sure.
the NRA has done good things.
Okay.
But in its current leadership, there's a lot of I just need to make a rant video where I just flail my hands around and talk about all the reasons I'm not an NRA member. But the NRA has done good things. But the people who are like, yeah, you have to support the NRA because of the biggest gun rights organization. Well, that doesn't mean they're making the most progress. By the same logic, that means McDonald's makes the best hamburgers because they sell the most. Like that's not how it works. They've created an organization that's so big that they kind of have to make sure there's something to fight tomorrow.
Fair
And
enough.
I don't know. They've done some really good things, but the NRA in the last 40 years has done a whole bunch of stuff that is bad news. And it's really interesting too. Like there's so many people like diehard Trump supporters, and I don't know if you voted for Trump or not, but who are just because Trump won, they're like, oh, the NRA endorsed Trump, and so now we don't have to worry about gun rights. But like statistically, like on the books, Trump has signed more anti-gun stuff than Obama.
Interesting. That's backwards.
I mean,
As
Obama,
to like the common like knowledge or like common sense would say, which isn't very common, would say that like that's backwards.
Like Obama scared a lot of people for sure.
Yeah.
But in terms of like actual policy, what did Obama pass that restricted gun rights?
Not that I know of. I'm not that into it, but I still have my gun, so
yeah,
like, not that much.
And then, under Trump, there's like, and it's kind of silly stuff, the bump stock ban and the red flag laws. And it's this slippery slope. It's just like, people got comfortable, got complacent. And now all this stuff, when they thought they were safe and thought they were good, it's under attack. And the Republicans are not making it better. They're making it worse. So I don't know. That's probably enough of me ranting about politics for the moment, but
yeah, and you got me now thinking about like what place sells the most chicken, and I think Chick-fil-A does have the best chicken.
Oh, because of my McDonald's comment.
Yeah. So I mean, we may need to test that one day. Zaxby's, Chick-fil-A, Raising Cane's.
Dude, I actually I was thinking about this the other day, and I think I wrote down, I think it was Chicken Express tenders with Chick-fil-A fries and cane sauce. I think was my ideal combination.
That's just asking for a poop shoot till I get fired up. I'm sorry. I do not like Chicken Express at all. Ooh, no thanks.
For me, it's the ultimate, like, I'm just tired. I'm coming back from a hunting trip. I just want greasy comfort food. But
the thing is, I know exactly what Chicken Express you would go through on your way back from your lease, because it's the only chicken place between you and home. And so I think that's more out of need than out of scarcity than actually out of desire.
Yeah, you're probably right. You're probably, you're putting in those highway miles, you're tired driving home in the dark. Then for about the next mile, you see this big golden sign. You're like,
beacon.
Chicken.
That's right.
Chicken. And then you just gotta stop.
So I don't know if this was in every town, and we're kind of getting way off track here, but I kind of like it.
That's fine. These are just a rant and just like tell stupid stories and have fun, man.
I'm not lying. I swear, in my hometown, we had a Big M McDonald's sign, literally like the height of like the Seattle Space Needle. Like they shot that thing so freaking high that like it was like 2 times above the pine trees, and like you could see it from like 5 miles off. So we were like, mom, 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 like every time we would go past that thing. So I'm sure that was their plan of like, let's see how high we can get this to see how many people we can bring in.
It's like the freaking bat signal.
Yes, absolutely.
So
That's funny.
this is reminding me. So when we were on our fishing trip and you stuck the camera in my face and said, "Hey, come up with all like those stupid little silly sayings and
Yeah,
words of
life
wisdom and
lessons.
life lessons," and I couldn't think of anything right now. I was, sitting here at 1 in the morning and I'm like, I need to start writing some of that stuff down.
Mm-hmm.
So I've got a huge list of all that stuff that I've written down in front of me. Now, some of these are not totally mine. Some of these I've heard from people and I've put my own spin on them. Some of them are totally mine. Some of them are kind of comedy. Some of them are just interesting life observations.
Well,
But
hey, I just refilled, so hit me.
you want to? I don't want to go through all of them right now because I think this could probably be its own video at some
Okay.
point. But let me just pull up the list.
Yeah.
Um,
Shoot a few my way.
Don't eat pork rinds in the dark. My cousin once got one that still had hair on it.
Oh. Oh.
Fire trucks are really just water trucks.
Fair enough.
Tortillas are actually just edible plates.
Yeah, I like it.
Waterproof boots are only a bad thing after they're filled with water. That was from my hog hunt. That's when I figured out my boots were semi-waterproof. Imagine a world where real bears and real worms were the same proportion as gummy bears and gummy worms.
I like that.
Calzones are just Italian empanadas, or empanadas are just Mexican calzones. I'm not sure.
Either way, it's pizza to go. Yeah, go ahead.
I once got stung on my ass by a scorpion. That's more just a observation.
Dang, how did that go?
It hurt. It was like basically like a bad wasp, like a red wasp sting.
Did you see the scorpion?
Yeah. Oh yeah. That's how I knew it was a scorpion because I was sitting there. It was when I was on that nilgai hunt. I was just kind of sitting in the brush and just, trying to be quiet. And then, just sitting there looking around. And then all of a sudden I'm like, yeah, what was that?
Big, small?
2 inches, not big.
Because I've heard the smaller they are, the like more worried you have to be.
And I think there are some that are like really bad. This is one of those little gray ones that I think aren't that bad. It was about like a wasp sting or a bee sting.
Yeah. I've only seen one in my life. No, two in my life. I've seen a black one and I've seen a I don't even know what color it is because I'm partially colorblind. So
a chameleon scorpion.
Yeah.
That's especially scary. I once burned my eyebrows off at a bonfire. I think I told you that story.
You did. Like, it's fine. Ooh, that was close.
No, dude, you got no eyebrows.
Literally, you don't have the perspective other people have, and you're just like, I'm cool, guys, I'm cool.
They're like, why do you look so excited and your eyes are so big? I don't know, I just don't have any eyebrows.
Wow.
Trying to think of other things on here. My truck doesn't leave home without a gun or toilet paper.
Definitely not. And all the random crap that Nate puts in your tool chest.
Yep. Yeah, we once found a whole bottle of Tony Satchery seasoning in there, which was good to have. I put that in there. What else? Taco cat, spelled backwards, is still taco cat. Just in case you were wondering. It's illegal in Texas. It's illegal to carry a handgun in public without a license, but you don't need a license to carry nunchucks. So I've got a solution. Gunchucks.
I also think it's very interesting that you could carry long guns. I don't know if you used to be able to carry long guns in Texas without a license.
There's never been a rule against it. You could carry an AK, but you could not carry a 380.
And you could do way more damage with a freaking long gun than you could with a handgun, which is just, that's just backwards. That's just politics.
And I think at the time when that was written, it was kind of almost like a Jim Crow law sort of thing. So it was the idea that, everybody had their hunting guns. Everybody had it. But the people who actually carried a gun for self-protection were like the rich plantation owners and stuff like that. And that's part of it. I'm sure it's more complicated than that. But
interesting.
Trying to think some other stuff on here. I wonder if the first submarine was intentional.
There is a story about the first submarine. I mean, obviously, there's always a story about, someone who knows it at some point. But there's the USS Hunley. You ever know that story?
Was that in the Revolutionary War where they were trying to drill the hole through the British ship?
That was the Civil War when they were going back and forth. Confederates actually had a submarine called the Hunley, and I don't remember the full story. It's been a while since I've learned about it, but it was one of the first, if not the first, submarine. Kind of crazy.
I need to learn about that. That's the sort of like random stuff that I'm interested in.
Well, the crazy thing is, it was sunken, and they found it in the Bay of Charleston or whatever bay that is near Fort Sumter, and it's being preserved in Charleston. I saw it when I was growing up, part of the Scouts.
I think that's remarkable, especially when like we were camping and I couldn't even find my Sony lens cap that I dropped in the water right in front of me.
Literally like 3 feet radius. You're like, all right, it's here. Where the heck is it?
But that water looked like freaking like Yoo-hoo drink. So it's pretty muddy.
Yeah, I'm glad we didn't go out this weekend. It's literally been like raining all week. So it'll probably have been like black.
Mud fishing.
Seriously. All you do is just, throw on corn dogs and you're going to catch a catfish, but you're not catching anything that's game.
It just happens to bump into it.
Yeah, seriously.
Imagine a cowboy. I think you just imagined a horseman. Now cowboys are a lot less cool.
Fair enough.
This was actually from one of our videos. Don't cook bacon with your shirt off. That's an old wives' tale. Probably because it's especially true for old wives.
May I ask, so I've been staring for a while. Excuse me. You have two mounts behind you.
Yep.
You only had one the last time we talked. What happened?
I think they were both there. I think my head was just covering it up.
No kidding. I mean, so were they both from this past year or years past?
No, these are old.
Okay.
This was my very first deer. These were both Mississippi.
Oh, very cool. Very first deer or very first buck?
Very first buck. Yeah.
I was going to say, if that was your freaking first deer, good gravy.
It's not that big. The angle probably makes it look, I mean, it's a legal deer. They're both legal, but not much more than that.
Okay.
Mostly just because I've got the big stuff is shoulder mounts in the other room, but those are just the little ones that I'm like, yeah, I'll throw it on the wall.
Sure. That's cool. How long did you go without your first buck?
Oh, in terms of like hunting years, probably 5 years.
Okay.
Where it was just does.
I'm at two right now.
But you got some does.
Man, yeah, I did. But golly, I wish I would have like seen this buck. Oh, anyways, yeah. I didn't have the opportunity.
Everybody's got that story. I remember even that one at Coleman that I was like, I can't believe that buck is here.
The very first year I could have shot, my depth perception was off because it was that valley and it was walking across and I was like, that's a deer. Like I was like, then I was like, and I was peeing. Like I literally turned around, zipped up, and I was like, oh crap, that's a deer. And now that I know it was like 75 yards away, not like 200, which I thought because of like the tricks on your eyes. And then the other one was up here. It was 5 minutes after shooting light, and I'm walking back to the car, and the sucker, I can still see because it was a pretty bright moon, and the sucker just stands up out of like the tall grass about 150 yards away. And I was like, golly. But yeah, tell me more. Give me a couple more.
What else do I got? When I go hiking, I only walk on my left foot half the time. Just some life advice. Don't wear your heart on your sleeve. It won't work and it's quite a mess.
Okay. That actually leads me to something I do want to talk about. Will you harvest hearts from now on?
I think so.
It's a lot of work. So.
Dude, I think though when Kyle and I did it, I've never seen anybody do it. Like we did the gutless method on a buck and still got the heart. It was like Indiana Jones Temple of Doom. You just like, we cut out one rib and made just like a little inspection port and just like reach in there. Ah.
Did you really cut out one
Yeah.
rib and just peel it back and then just?
Yeah.
That's
Fished around. It was like unscrewing a light bulb. Be like, I got it.
I saw Steve Ranella. He showed how to clean a heart on his show, on his like YouTube or whatever the other day. And so it made me think of that story. I was like, oh, I wonder, like, I never watched the video. I kind of just scrolled past it because I didn't need that knowledge at this point in my life. But
the texture is kind of weird because it's like, it doesn't have a grain to it like a steak would. So the texture is kind of strange, but the flavor and all, it's very good. Now,
yeah.
I still don't, to me, liver is guts. But I'm gonna anytime the heart's intact and not all like busted up, yeah, I think there are a lot of people who, you know, that's kind of the celebration of, that's the first part of the deer you eat. And that's, so I might kind of get on that trend.
What about lungs?
Mm-mm.
I've never heard of anybody doing it, but they aren't technically guts, you know, they're kind of in between.
Yeah,
like
and I think that's in like, it's in like haggis and stuff. Like they put the lungs and stuff. Like there's a bunch of weird, like,
really,
maybe it's not haggis, but it's some weird Scottish recipe.
I don't think I could do hearts.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I don't think I could do lungs. I'd eat heart. I'm not at a point where I could do tongue.
No.
Yeah.
Tripe. No. That was apparently buffalo tongue was like this huge delicacy, and people would kill, like, looking back on it, it's like grossly irresponsible and stuff, but people would actually kill buffalo just for the tongue.
That's sad.
Yeah.
That's really sad.
But that apparently it's very good meat. I've never had it. I don't know. Looking at my list here. Fantasy football is just Dungeons and Dragons for the kids who bullied the kids who played Dungeons and Dragons.
Yes.
Is it possible for a midget to wear high-waisted shorts, or does that make them short shorts? I think cavemen invented fire primarily to warm up the cave enough to make cave women take their clothes off.
Yeah. I think once that correlation happened, they were like, well, heck.
They're like, oh, now we know what we're doing.
Right.
I guess we can cook our food too, but.
Do they had clothes back then?
Like saber-toothed tiger pelts and stuff.
Right. Mammoth pelts.
Yeah. Burger King says you can have it your way. Fortunately, my way is to avoid Burger King entirely, so that works out.
Bingo. What if you go up and be like, can I have a Five Guys hamburger?
Chick-fil-A sauce.
That's right. Make sure when you do the fries, you add more fries and bag fries. Like, I need it the Five Guy way. And then I also need some guacamole that they have at Whataburger.
And mojito to go.
That's right. You said your way. Show up or shut up.
They have Dairy Queen in Australia, but the ice cream swirl goes the other way.
I hope so. It better.
A vanilla soy latte is just a really weak 3-bean soup.
That's the best one so far. That's the most creative because it is true.
Trying to think what else I got on here.
That's clever.
And a lot of these are just kind of like stories or.
Yeah.
Between Daft Punk, Deadmau5, and Marshmello, I think the key to making good electronic dance music is just putting something really large on your head. When your phone gets wet, they say you can fix it by leaving it in a bag of rice, but really just the rice attracts Chinese people who come and fix your phone.
Ooh, that's getting edgy.
Trying to think what else I got on here. My neighbor has a calico cat or a black cat that likes to play with bleach.
I like it.
I once ate a very old onion. I know because I counted the rings. It doesn't really work that way.
I was like, can you do that with all?
No, that's trees. What else do I have? Oh, my favorite prank in college was unscrewing the shower heads and putting Jolly Rancher candies in there.
Seriously?
Yeah, because then it melts and you get like that sticky syrup all over you, and then you're like, "Oh, I'm all sticky. I gotta go take a shower," and then you get it again.
Oh my gosh! Did they ever find out that it was you?
I don't think so. Secret's out now. Or bouillon cubes, like beef bouillon cubes. Put that in the shower head.
You
You
were
got
an
like a
ass.
soup shower.
Come out smelling like chicken.
Yeah. And then you're like, "Oh, I'm nasty. I gotta go to another shower." And then you get the Jolly Rancher apple.
Oh my gosh, that would be awful. Did you have co-ed dorms?
No, I was in an all guys dorm. So there were a lot of pranks.
Sure. Did you ever see anybody come out with like saying like, dude, like who the heck just did that?
Oh, dude, we did, yeah. Yeah. And we did so much stuff. I don't know. I remember another one. It was kind of a mean one. We would take the we were college kids, and so we'd always go by Taco Bell, and we'd get like a million bags of little like fire sauce packets. You fold them in half, you lift up the toilet seat, and there's that little like post, that little peg. You put that in there, and then somebody sits down there. We called it Fireball. So that was one we did. Dude, we did so much stuff. It's not like some of it was bad. Some of it was just, a lot of it was just silly, fun stuff. But
wow, that would be awful.
Yeah. I think one time we caught a live armadillo and let that loose in somebody's dorm room. It just, silly college stuff.
Yeah.
Trying to think if I've got anything else on my list that's particularly interesting. Once my friend drank a lot and passed out on my couch on top of a donut that got mashed into the fabric. So naturally, my buddy drew a dick on his face. He was worried about getting caught, so he signed it with my other friend's name. Actually happened.
That's funny.
When I hiked Big Bend, I wanted a huge hat to block the sun. Unfortunately, I didn't have a video of this. This was before I was doing video stuff. I just had pictures, but I wanted a huge hat to block the sun. So I bought a Mexican farmer's hat, but it may have actually been a lady's sun hat. They made fun of me for the whole trip, but also I was the only one who didn't get really bad sunburn.
Jokes on them, especially when you're driving back and everybody's freaking like
toasty
as a crisp. Yeah.
Vegetarians eat tofu burgers and fake chicken patties, but you never see meat pretending to be vegetables. Just saying.
Yeah.
I think I got a bunch of other little ones and other stories in here, but yeah.
Some of them make me think, some of them make me laugh.
Yeah, and they're just kind of, some of them are observations, and fishing is just performing a dangerous marionette puppet show for fish. You can tell the difference between alligators and crocodiles by whether they see you later or after a while.
Definitely. Whether they like Peter Pan.
Oh, what was that? The one with that 8 o'clock or whatever?
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's just my silly little observational list. I'm gonna add to that, and then I don't know, turn it into a page a day calendar or something that nobody will buy because they're entirely stupid.
You can add them to your targets. That'd be pretty fun.
Like Confucius says, "Taco cat backwards is still taco cat."
That's right. Like a fortune cookie.
Dude, why am I not in that business? Writing fortune cookies. Yeah. Dude, that's what I should do. I should just quit my job. Yeah.
Fortune cookie maker.
Yep. You open another one and be like, yep, another bad cookie. That's what it says. I think that would be a fun job. I think there's like a Seinfeld bit or something about that, about writing fortune cookies. I don't know. Or Jim Gaffigan. I don't know. Somebody's got a bit about that.
Yeah, for sure. It's been fun, man.
Yeah, dude. I haven't been looking at the live chat recently. I don't know if anybody's... Oh, somebody. Andrea said hello. I don't know if you're still on. Probably not. That was quite a while ago. It actually doesn't show the time on there, but...
I don't have anybody. I just have group chat. You only get the direct comments, I think.
No, you got to open it up in another window.
Oh,
Like I go to YouTube and watch the video. That's why like when I first opened it, I had the audio blaring because I had it playing in two places.
oh. Well, never mind then. That's
Well, these
cool.
are always fun just because it's a chance to, so many of the videos are mostly like trip videos or gun reviews or gear reviews, but these are fun just to catch up and just shoot the breeze, be goofy, tell silly stories.
For sure. Yeah, I enjoy it. I mean, not every day do you get like stranded in an airport and your buddy picks you up at 12:30 at night. So when that doesn't happen, you have to resort to connecting via fantastic technology that we didn't grow up with and didn't get corrupted by.
Yeah.
Like these darn kids these days.
The internet.
Right.
Don't worry. That'll never be a thing. It's not sticking around.
Yeah, right. I literally my U.S. history junior year professor in high school, he had the opportunity to put 10 grand in on the seed round of Dell.
Wow, like on like an IPO or something.
Whatever. I don't know what IPO stands for, but yeah.
Wow.
He said he didn't do it. He had the money. He just didn't do it. And he's like, I love y'all, but I could have been on a beach somewhere. He's like, I cannot believe it. But yeah, you're exactly right. They didn't think the internet was going to be a thing.
Oh, Andrea says still here. What's up, Andrea?
Hey, Andrea. Glad to have you.
So you
got any questions? Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
You do your thing.
No, I was just saying.
I'm just here to drink bourbon and laugh.
Dude, that's what this whole thing is about. We do all the other trip videos, but this is just a time just to be goofy.
Yeah.
But and I was gonna tell you my funny story at the gym. So
yes, please.
I realized, after hunting season, I'm, being more sedentary, less active, and so I'm just turning into a sedentary cheese beast, and that's not good. So starting to try to exercise, get out, shoot my bow a couple times a week if I can, at least once a week, get to the gym a couple times a week, trying to do a little bit better.
Yeah.
I'm so freaking slow. Like I'm not in good shape, but it's just like trying to have some sort of like meter to it. So I've got some consistency. But anyway, I was listening to a podcast on my phone. I was sitting there and, I'm jogging slowly, and then I kind of alternate, go slow for a while, go fast for a while, slow for a while, fast for a while. And I turned it up to go fast. And then right when I was going fast, I guess the vibration started shaking the treadmill, and it pulled my phone off the little cradle and fell onto the treadmill. And so I was like, and I knew it was just going to go boom, shooting by me. And that thing, like if your phone's falling and you can kick it, if you can like give it some like sideways inertia, like it'll help save it or whatever.
Oh, for sure.
So that occurred to me. It was like, I was trying to think in like Matrix bullet time. I was like, oh, kick it. And so I went to kick it, but I was still on the treadmill. So I was running on there. I went to kick it, and then the treadmill's still going. So I like tripped myself. But then I was like, how like you trip and you recover, but you kind of slow down. You're like, whoa, okay.
Yeah.
But I was on treadmill, and I just turned it up to 8.5. And so I was like falling for like 30 seconds. And then my phone went shooting across the room, and everybody's just like, oh, new guy.
I would have paid good money to see that.
I'm just like, my phone flies across the room. I'm stumbling over myself on the treadmill. And I'm just like, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm bad at exercise. Oh, it was so funny. I felt like such a moron.
That is funny. And I will say, that's hilarious. And I totally would have been, if I saw somebody do that, I would have been like, newbie. But that's because our friends and I have literally said that there should be a gym membership for an 11-month gym membership. It should go from February till December, and everybody gets the free month of January if they want to go, because January in the gym absolutely sucks. And because we're just like, there's so many people, it's not predictable. Nobody's in their schedule. It's just kind of crazy.
You're one of those resolution people. You're new here. Here's your helmet.
There's like a sign. that clearly everybody else walks past unless you're new, that you're like,
so they don't make you guys wear this orange vest?
what?
Andrea says, first time viewer, what's up?
Oh yeah.
Hey, Andrea, this is so Adventure One. Normally we're doing all these like hiking videos, camping videos, hunting, all this, but this is just kind of our silly little chat where we just kind of, sometimes it's pointed and we talk it. We have a certain like topic that we really want to cover and get in depth on, but a lot of times it's just to tell stories and just like kind of celebrate people who are into, you know, hiking, camping, guns, gadgets, gear, silly stories, just to kind of have fun with it. So if you're not a subscriber to the channel, please do. I'd appreciate it. Check out some of those old videos. They're pretty fun. But this live series is just kind of general silliness and incoherent mumbling and insanity. But yeah.
Definitely willing to field questions if you want. I make cameos every once in a while in some of those old videos, but yeah, I'd be happy to answer anything.
Dude, well, I was thinking
post anything.
I was looking back at some of the old ones, and it seemed like it was always like bird hunting trips. There were like a lot of times where I was trying to, I don't know, play host or whatever. And so I'm like talking to the camera and I'm like, yeah, we're doing this. And you're just like in the back, just like making fun of me or doing silly stuff. And I didn't even realize, like, I think I had caught you doing it like a couple times, but there are like tons of videos where you're always in the background, just like doing stupid stuff.
I only did that literally for your editing pleasure. I never thought some of those would make it. And if they did, like, I was hoping somebody would catch it every once in a while, but like, I did that more for me than for you. I was just like, let me see, like, how long this is going to take to like come back like full circle for you to notice it. So
I think
I'm glad that you noticed it.
Oh yeah, I think some of them made it, some of them didn't. I think, what was it, the snow goose hunt we went on? You're like in the background, you're like eating sunflower seeds, and then you start choking and like spitting them all out.
That's the one I thought of when we were doing that. I was just like,
or I had there was the one where I was demonstrating how we breast out a dove instead of plucking it, how we just like pull the meat out, and it was more like a tutorial. And you and Kyle are in the back just like throwing feathers at me the whole time.
Yes, because you were doing this video, which you were doing your video for like one dove, while meanwhile we're doing like 15. So we're just like snipping away. So we're like, let's screw with him. Let's just like let's just throw feathers.
You're like, we're actually doing all the work, so let's have fun while he's just being the goofy camera guy. That video actually got it didn't get taken down. It got demonetized and flagged. Yeah, because it's, I don't know. I've had like all my videos where I show like how to clean or gut an animal, like they all get flagged. And then I have a lot that actually, like, I just have one called Dad's Buck. That it's when my dad shot that 10-point whitetail in North Texas. And I didn't film the hunt. It was mostly just like, he knew he hit it. He was so excited. And it was telling the story about how it was his dad's gun. And it had the anniversary date on it. And like, he was so excited because he had never shot like a good Texas buck. And so we just walked up to him and found it. But then that one got flagged. And it's just because we showed a dead animal. But I was able to, like, there's a, I guess an appeal process where, so I think it's mostly like machine learning, where it's either listening to you and finding keywords or somehow identifying stuff. And I don't know, maybe I said gun too many times and that's why it got flagged or demonetized. But then that one I was able to appeal and get. Now they don't really, you know, make hardly anything, especially for this type of content. But I don't know. I just don't like it when stuff is proactively blocked, especially when it was just that one. It's just like, I'm just telling a cool story about this cool deer that my dad got. But
seriously though, like, that's frustrating because like, who cares? Like, I literally watched a video the other day about like how to butcher like a leg of cow. Like, what do people think that just came out of like thin air? I don't get that.
Yeah.
I'm sorry if like you don't want it. So like, you know, instead of flagging it, how about you just make a button that has like, okay, potential like dead animal or like potentially gory stuff, like rate it. Don't like demonetize it or whatever. Like, I don't know, you have to make it political. You could just say, you could have a rating system like PG-13, R, you know, that'd be a better way of, I think, categorizing some things where people can prepare for it.
And I think they kind of do that. There's a lot of stuff that if you don't have a YouTube account, like you have
Mhm.
to be signed in.
Oh, okay.
And
That's
then it
cool.
has like your age and stuff. So I think there's a lot of stuff like that where if it's a bunch of if you're swearing a lot, it'll pick up on that. And so
Oh,
if it won't let you watch it unless you're logged in. There's some stuff like that, but
that's good.
man, YouTube is I mean, we're on YouTube right now, so I kind of feel bad knocking it while we're using it because
Sure.
it is so valuable and it's so good. But the whole I like it was the original value of YouTube is that the I guess the media and the commentary isn't held by just old traditional big powers that be. It's the idea that anybody can produce their own content, tell their own story, and people who are interesting and telling fun stories like that stuff tends to float to the top. And the more they censor it and control it, like the more it loses what made it so cool and so powerful to begin with.
Yeah. Yeah. No kidding.
Well, I feel like we've gone for a very long time, and I know there's so much stuff we could probably ramble on forever about, but I think I'm kind of ready to wind it down.
Yeah. And sorry, I just am now pulling up the the group chat to see what else is going on because
Oh, gotcha.
I didn't get to do it. Oh, somebody said amazing gun. That must have been for your because mine is just a simple shotgun that everybody has. I'm guessing it's yours. I had the ported barrel, but
I don't
yeah,
know.
I'm ready to wind it down.
That shotgun's pretty cool. It's gonna knock down a turkey this year. I feel it.
Oh,
Feel it.
it's gonna knock down something. That's for darn sure. I don't know what it is, but yeah, man, awesome. Well, it's been fun to catch up a little bit, share some new stuff, talk about old stuff. I like it.
Yeah, well, for everybody watching this live or watching this later down the road, so coming out after this, it's I guess it's technically still winter or maybe early spring. Well, the time changes this weekend. I don't know technically when spring starts. I don't know. Texas is weird. It was
Oh,
28 2 days ago and it was 78 today.
turning clock said tonight, not just
Yes,
this
yes,
weekend. Tonight.
tonight. But anyway, future videos after this, we've got some fishing stuff, always have some camping and just general outdoor silliness. I think we'll have some cool turkey hunting stuff. We're going to be doing that in Texas. So lots of cool content coming up soon. So make sure you tune in, subscribe, watch all that stuff. And then I think we'll be doing another one of these live chats soon. So thanks to everybody who is watching. And so it's time to say goodbye.
Cheers.
So see you folks. Until next time, be safe, stay free, and never stop seeking adventure.